Une immense fête.
C'est fini.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2024 Netflix French shark movie, Under Paris. The film is directed by Xavier Gens and it stars Berenice Bejo and Nazim Lays. And it focuses on, as I said, a shark making its way under Paris. We see at the beginning of the film there is an underwater specialist, Sophia. She's got like her crew, and they are kind of exploring and discovering what's going on out in the ocean under all this rubbish, and they've got sharks that they want to monitor, so on and so forth. It all goes particularly pear-shaped. They all get munched, and she's the only survivor. And then she returns to Paris, and the shark that munched her crew ends up under Paris. She is brought on board by the police in order to try and deal with this threat before many French people get, used as appetizers by the munchy sharks. Right, what are my thoughts on Under Paris? Well, I had high hopes for this film. As mainly, I think I'm so fed up with pretty dull and bang average shark movies that, we are forever given to watch these days, that, a fairly decent budgeted film on Netflix, an original movie with a shark at the central theme of it, eating people, I was a bit like, yeah, this could be good. And, some early buzz on this was, this could be a decent film, or it was a decent film. However, I don't know what film they were watching, because I came away from this, for the most part, thinking it was pretty dire. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to get the positives out of the way first, because there are some. Obviously, it's a well-polished film. It looks good. It's actually quite beautiful at times. I think the performances are of a decent standard here, especially Berenice Bejo, the lead actress who plays Sophia, and I'm probably pronounced that incorrectly. And the effects are of a good standard here. The shark effects are good, and some of the shark attack scenes are done quite well. The decapitations and body parts getting chomped off here and there are done well. And for me, that's kind of about it, really. And I think the concept here of, the shark under Paris, as kind of ridiculous as it appears to be, it could have made a decent movie, but there's so many dumb stuff in this film that and cliches that I personally couldn't forgive myself. I just thought it was silly, a lot of the things. Now, for example, right at the beginning of the film, when her crew is underwater and they are quite clearly being chomped and munched by a sharks, how does Sophia react? She jumps in the water, goes after them. And I'm a bit like, hang on a minute. She didn't jump in there with, the biggest gun known to mankind, or, a weapon of mass destruction to deal with these creatures. Not that there is anything. No, she jumped in with like a harpoon to deal with, however many sharks there were. And even though it turned into a quite interesting sequence, I just thought, as soon as she jumped in, I think I said out loud, I says, "What are you doing?" There was a little bit of dodgy CGI, especially at the beginning, I think, but it wasn't distracting, I would say. And then we get to France. And I'm sorry, but the French do themselves no favour in this film, especially their portrayal of the police. So they find this body, that Sophia is quite clearly telling everybody that's shark. It's a shark bite. You've got a shark. That's a shark. And what do the police do? They don't listen and they go diving. You know, these really clever, smart police don't listen to her and decide to go diving to confirm whether it's a shark. Well, I'm sorry, but an expert has just told you very clearly and definitely there's a shark under there. So there's stuff like that going on throughout the whole film. And then you've got this annoying activist in the film that tries to recruit Sophia, and she's worried. She wants to get this shark back out into the ocean to save its life. Okay, that's admirable. I don't really have a problem with that. But how she goes about it made me want to, kick something. It was really annoying because you've got, as I said, the police go diving, and her solution to trying to protect this shark is to turn off the beacon that they're all following to tell them where the shark is. And she's got this tech whiz back at her office, and she tells her to turn off the beacon, so which leaves the divers completely exposed to the shark. And at that point then I couldn't wait for this activist to get munched. You know what I mean? I was literally counting the minutes down to when she gets munched. And then it kind of moves into this weird activist message about protecting the oceans, and it all got a bit Greta Thunberg for me. And I really zoned out at this point, and I zoned back in then when it looked like this activist was going to get seriously chomped. So it kind of weirdly, went from being like trying to be an over-the-top fun shark film to slapping you across the face, or Greta Thunberg like jumping out of the telly giving you a slap across the face just before it puts you back in the movie. It was very odd. And then you've got the corrupt mayor, ripped straight from Jaws, this French mayor who will have none of it. She's got this event that's happening in Paris, and it's not going to be stopped. There's this triathlon happening in Paris. It's not going to be stopped. You sort this munchy shark out, and everything will be fine. I'm going to bury my head in the sand over here while you go and deal with this. And it was like, oh, for goodness sake. It was so cliched and ridiculous. And then the ending. I don't really know where to start on the ending. It's probably one of the, in my opinion, worst endings I've seen in a long, long time. It's not an ending, really. It's just, a swift kick in the balls, I would suggest, the ending that they give you. So what we've got here, I think, is what had the potential to be a really fun, over-the-top, sharky film that turned into something else. And it is a real shame, because when they do decide to dial up the shark action here, where people getting chomped and eaten, and body parts decapitated, and the triathlon people getting munched, that's the film when it's at its absolute best. All the dumb stuff that characters do, and it really, for me, drags this film right down, and turns it into, for me, an almost below average film. And I do think it was a shame, because there was, I believe, some real potential here. So it's on Netflix right now. Yes, it is a French speaking film, French language film. There are subtitles, of course. You can watch it in English dubbed if you want. It's completely up to you. But yeah, check it out. If you like shark films, you want to pass a couple of hours with a pretty disposable, sharky adventure, it's there for you to watch, guys. I personally wasn't a fan of this one. I didn't think it was that good, but your opinion may differ from mine. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.